In the midst of the pandemic, oftentimes people find themselves with free time. An international student from Kenya, studying at Duke University, found themselves using this free time to explore their gender identity. Gender is a complex topic, and in the world today, we see a strive to accept different identities, but there is still a lot of work to be done. James Mbuthia grew up in Kenya and came to the U.S. to pursue education. James is a storyteller, musician, and beautiful soul. During the pandemic, he renamed himself Rama Mbuthia Amandla. This is the story of how James Mbuthia became Rama Mbuthia Amandla. Rama says her name means flower of the sun in her tribal language and represents her connection with femininity. She has spent time during the pandemic exploring different aspects of femininity that is important to her. Rama is also the name of the place at which Joseph from the Bible's mother died, and is an oasis. Similarly, Rama finds her own oasis in queerness, as queerness is freedom. She is a passionate musician and artist. From composing music to telling stories, acting, and writing, artistry is at the core of herself.
Hey, little mama, gonna ask me if I want to. Just tell me, can I get a line? Grow you up and let me know.
The name Amandla is a tribute to his connection to his love of education, as Nelson Mandela was a large influence on his family, and Amandla embodies the idea of freedom and education. Even as a Kenyan immigrant, Amandla finds himself passionate about the United States. On the weekend the election was called, Amandla danced and rode around the streets of Durham. On that day, there was so much joy on the streets, so much happiness in the air, and so much love, similar to Amandla's own characteristics. They found themselves alone in the United States at first. Their roommate, Clara, is one of their rocks. They bring joy to whoever they are with. Their soul is nurturing and caring. They consider themselves a dreamer with a rainbow coat and a leader to freedom. Their nurturing identity can be seen with their new dog that they are fostering, which brings joy to their home. Their light and good heart often fills up the home. They are open and giving and invest deeply in the people around them. Ryan, one of Rama's close friends, has been a large influence on them. The name Mbuthia is the only part of himself that he kept from his given name. Mbuthia is from his grandfather's tribal language. While he has grown accustomed to the United States, one of his favorite ways to connect back with his roots is through cooking. Mbuthia was kept to honor his grandfather because his grandfather was a storyteller. And likewise, Mbuthia is an avid storyteller. Mbuthia is a powerful name, and he can take up the entire room, especially when telling a story. As Rama Mbuthia Amandla continues to explore their identity, they do not feel restricted by the confines of society. Everywhere they go, they challenge the traditional culture. From shopping at both men's and women's sections to allowing people to use any pronouns for them as they see fit, it is clear that Rama Mbuthia Amandla is not choosing a traditional path in life. This is the story of Rama Mbuthia Amandla, a queer individual who has challenged traditional gender norms and culture through art and music, and will continue fighting for a queer, Black, and intersectional future.